Have you ever really, truly thought about how the food you eat powers, well, everything you do? From your heartbeat to your thoughts, it's this incredible biological masterpiece. And today, we're going to follow that journey from the very first bite all the way to the tiny power plants inside your cells. All right, let's get into it.
So it all boils down to this question. You eat a sandwich, right? And a few hours later, you're walking, talking, thinking. How in the world does your body turn that sandwich into pure energy for the trillions, literally trillions, of cells that make you you? It's not magic, I promise. It's just an absolutely amazing, perfectly coordinated supply chain.
Okay, our first stop on this tour is what I like to call the body's disassembly line. You might know it as the digestive system. Its whole job, its one and only mission, is to take the complex stuff we eat and just break it all down into simple little fuel molecules the body can actually use.
Now, this whole operation follows a pretty clear 5-step plan. First up, ingestion. That's the easy part, just putting food in your mouth. Then comes digestion, the actual breaking down. After that, absorption, which is getting all the good stuff into your bloodstream. Then, assimilation. That's when your cells finally use the fuel. And last but not least, egestion, which is, getting rid of the leftovers. So, the journey kicks off the very moment you take a bite. Your teeth immediately start what we call mechanical digestion. They just crush, grind, and mash the food into smaller bits. It's the first, super important step, and everything from your jaw down to the very shape of each tooth is built for it. But get this, while you're still chewing, something else is already happening. The chemical attack has begun. Your saliva isn't just water, not by a long shot. It's loaded with enzymes, like one called pyelin, which jumps on any starches, like from the bread of your sandwich, and starts breaking them down into simple sugars right then and there.
After a quick trip down the esophagus, everything lands in the stomach. Now, the cool thing about this slide is that little chart. It basically shows you the stomach's specialty. It's not really interested in carbs, and it does a little with fats, but its main event? Oh yeah, it's protein. With its muscular walls and powerful acids, the stomach is an absolute protein processing machine.
From the stomach, this food pulp mixture, now called chyme, by the way, moves into the small intestine. And this, my friends, is the main event. This is where the final act of digestion happens. With a little help from its friends, the pancreas and the liver, every last bit of fat, protein, and carb gets broken down and finally absorbed into the bloodstream. So, we have our fuel, glucose and other goodies floating around in the blood. Awesome. But fuel in a car is pretty useless without a spark, right? Well, for our bodies, that essential spark is oxygen. And to get it, we need to look at a whole other system. Every breath you take is basically a business transaction. Check this out. The air we breathe in is about 21% oxygen. The air we breathe out, only 17%. Our body takes that 4% as its payment. And in return, we dump out a bunch of waste, a whole lot more carbon dioxide.
And this right here is the incredible hardware that makes that transaction possible, the respiratory system. Think of it as a super intricate oxygen pipeline, designed to get that vital gas from the outside world deep, deep into your body.
And if we zoom all the way in, deep inside the lungs, we find millions of these microscopic air sacs called alveoli. This is ground zero. This is the exchange counter where the real magic happens. In a flash, oxygen from the air you just breathed in slips through the thin walls, right into your blood, while carbon dioxide makes the journey in the opposite direction to be breathed out. It's incredible. Okay, so we've got the fuel from our food, we've got the oxygen from the air. Now, how do we get them to meet? How do we deliver these two critical ingredients to every last one of our trillions of cells? Well, you need a delivery service, and the body has the best one in the universe, the circulatory system. And the star of this delivery service is, of course, blood. When you break it down, it's pretty much two things. You've got the liquid part, the plasma, which is a little over half, and then you have all the cells, red cells, white cells, you name it, floating around in that plasma. Now let's focus on those red blood cells for a second, because they have a superstar molecule inside them called hemoglobin. The easiest way to think about hemoglobin is as an oxygen magnet. As these red blood cells zip through the lungs, the hemoglobin just snatches up oxygen molecules and holds on tight for the ride. Honestly, you can just think of a red blood cell as an oxygen taxi. And its unique shape, kind of like a donut but with the middle filled in, is no accident. That biconcave shape gives it a massive surface area, which makes it incredibly good at both picking up and dropping off its precious cargo. So when you step back, blood is the ultimate courier. It's this river flowing through you, making nonstop deliveries of everything your cells need to live.
nutrients from your food, oxygen from your lungs. And it's also the trash service, picking up waste like carbon dioxide on the return trip to get rid of it.
All right, this is the moment we've been building up to. The fuel has been processed, the oxygen has been picked up, the delivery service is on the move. Now it's time to actually make some energy. It's time for the final step.
And here it is, the final destination, a single, tiny cell. This is where it all comes together. The blood vessels drop off the glucose from your food and the oxygen from your lungs right at the cell's doorstep. They both pass inside, ready to create the spark of life.
And this is the chemical reaction that powers pretty much all complex life. It's called aerobic respiration. The cell takes one molecule of glucose, mixes it with oxygen, and in a very controlled, very safe burn, it unleashes a huge amount of energy. The only things left over are a little carbon dioxide and water.
So what form does that energy take? It gets stored in a special molecule called ATP. And the idea of it being an energy coin is absolutely perfect. ATP is the cash your body uses for everything. Want to move a muscle? You got to spend some ATP. Want to form a new thought? That'll cost you some ATP too.
So when you zoom all the way out, you can see it's not really three separate systems at all. It's one perfectly integrated team working in total harmony. Digestion is the prep crew. Respiration brings in the spark. Circulation is the delivery fleet. It's a nonstop, jaw-droppingly efficient energy supply chain that works for you 24/7.
We've just walked through the absolutely incredible process that turns your lunch into life itself. But that's just one of the countless invisible miracles your body is pulling off right this very second. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other amazing systems are working behind the scenes right now just to keep you going?